Everybody, welcome back to another Kinetics College session with Swoosh English. My name is Grace and I will be your teacher for the session today. First of all, I would love to find out who's watching and where you're watching from. So if you could just put a message in the comments for me, telling me where you are, where you're watching from today, it would be great to say hello to all of you. So in this session today, we're going to be looking at PTE reading. So hopefully you are ready to get lots of tips and advice for how to complete the PTE reading test. So let's get started. I can already see we've got some people in the comments saying hello. We've got JK, hello JK, and Safwat, hello. Very nice to hear from you all today. And yes, please do, everybody, say hello to me in the comments. Safwat, you're from Dubai. Excellent. Well, I am here in Mexico today. It is a little bit cold this morning, but sunny. So hopefully it's nice and sunny where you are as well, Safwat. Okay, wonderful. So I think let's get started then with today's lesson. Now, before we jump into talking about PTE reading, I would like to ask everybody watching a few questions. So the first question is, are you a qualified and experienced nurse looking for your dream healthcare job in the USA? So if that is you, type me into the chat box. So I can see we've also got Farhat saying good evening. Hello, Farhat, wherever you are in the world. So this question for you, if you can answer in the chat, type me if that sounds like you. So are you a qualified and experienced nurse, and is it your dream to move to the USA? If that's you, type me into the chat box. Okay, next question. Here we go. Oops. Yes, so we've got Army said me. Okay, well, this next question is for you. Are you struggling with your English exam preparation? So if you said me to the last question, your next question is, are you struggling with your English exam preparation? If yes, type struggle. Okay, lots of people writing me into the comments. Army, Doki, Teresa, Asaf. Okay, lots of people. So if you are also struggling with your English exam preparation, let me know by typing struggle into the chat. Oh, lots of people watching today. Hello, Anthony from Kenya. How are you? Okay, a few people writing struggle as well. Okay, another question then. Would you like to successfully prepare for and pass your English exam, move to the USA, and get your dream job all for free? So if that sounds like you, type please into the chat box. Okay, yeah, lots of people. Teresa, Romeo, Doki, Army, all saying struggle, and Anthony as well. So if you want to pass your exam and no longer be struggling with your English exam preparation, type please into the chat box. Lots of people writing please as well. Okay, well, if you replied to that last one, you'll be very interested to hear about this. So we are offering a free English exam scholarship with Kinetics USA and Swoosh English. So let me give you some information about this. So in the free English exam review program, you will receive your complimentary English exam review course. It will have everything you need to get you prepared for whatever English exam you are taking. We offer free daily classes for all of the skills. So reading, writing, listening, and speaking. We'll have classes every day. Free study groups and study partners so that you can practice your English together. We have a Telegram support group, and in that support group, we have a Kinetics support specialist who will be there to help you through your exam preparation journey. So we offer scholarship programs for IELTS, OET, and PTE. So whether you want to take either of these exams or any of these exams, we've got a review course just for you. So in your review course, we've got video lessons and quizzes for all 4 skills. We also offer a writing correction service. So So this is an opportunity for you to submit your writing to our expert teachers and then receive their feedback within 24 hours. So you can really work on and improve your writing. All of our classes are recorded and uploaded to your course dashboard. So every single class will be there for you to watch later in your own time. We offer mock exams for you to practice taking an exam in real life exam conditions to get you ready to take the real thing. And of course, we offer you around the clock support from the Swoosh and Kinetics team. So you are supported every step of your exam journey. So if this sounds like something that you would like to get involved in, all you have to do to get signed up is to follow the link. And that link will be put into the comments for you right now. So if you would like to sign up for the free OET, PTE or IELTS review program with Swoosh English and Kinetics, click on the link that you can see in the chat. Remember that you get all of this included and more to help you pass your exam the first time. So if you look in the chat now, you will see that link there, and I encourage you all to get signed up. So we're going to get started now with today's PTE lesson. So if you're already preparing for your PTE test or you're thinking about taking it, then this lesson will be very helpful for you because we're going to talk about reading. And the task we'll be focusing on today is PTE Fill in the Blanks. So we'll look at the task requirements, learn some valuable tips for completing the task, look at how knowing parts of speech and collocations can help you in this task, and then practice some sample fill in the blanks tasks together, and I'll be helping you with the answers and how to get those. So lots to get through today in the class. Before we begin, I have a question for everybody watching. What do you know about PTE reading? So have a think. What do you already know about the reading test? And put your ideas in the comments. So maybe you've got an idea of how long the test is or how many questions there are. Maybe you already know some of the task types, some of the names of the task types. Maybe you've got some ideas about the strategies that you need to complete the reading tasks for PTE. So anything that you already know about the test, put that into the comments for me to read. And the next question, what do you find the most difficult about reading? So have a think, what do you find particularly difficult about reading? And put your answer into the comments. So maybe some people struggle with vocabulary, understanding all the vocabulary. Maybe you have trouble with completing all of the tasks in the given time when it's an exam situation. Maybe you don't particularly enjoy reading in your first language and find it difficult to read in English as well. So let me know in the comments, what do you know about PTE reading, if anything? And what do you find the most difficult about reading? So it can be difficult, I know, to know how to approach the exam tasks, the strategies that you need. But don't worry, we will look at some strategies today that will help you. So Dokyi has mentioned reorder paragraphs. So that is a PTE reading task in which you have to put paragraphs of a text in the correct order. Thank you, Dokyi. Safwat has mentioned that time management is challenging in the reading part. Okay, yes. And reading, I think that means reading, writing, fill in the blanks is the most difficult one for you, Safwat? Well, we're looking at fill in the blanks today, which is quite similar to the reading and writing fill in the blanks. So hopefully the strategies that we look at will be helpful for you. Any other PTE reading tasks that people can think of, or anything else that people find difficult? Hopefully we will be able to address some of those difficulties in the class today. So let's move on. You are, of course, welcome to continue writing your comments. So let's now focus on the task of today, which is fill in the blanks. So you are required in this task to read a text and complete missing words from a list of options. So there will be some words missing in the text, and for each blank, you will have some options to choose from. And you will put those into the text. So there'll be a list of words at the bottom of the text for you to complete. And we would advise that you spend about 2 minutes on each task. So Safwat, you mentioned that time management can be a problem for you in the reading test. It can be helpful to have an idea of how much time to spend on each task. And for this particular task, I would recommend about 2 minutes. And you will have 3 to 4 of these to complete. Okay, so this is the task information for fill in the blanks. Now let's have a look at some strategy ideas. So the first thing that you should do when you approach this task is to skim the whole text first to get an overall sense of the meaning. So you need to practice your skimming skills, which is reading quickly to get the main idea of a text. Don't worry about vocabulary that you don't understand. Don't try to understand every single word in detail. Just quickly skim the whole text, ignoring the blanks, just to get an idea of the context. This will really help you. Next, for each gap, think about the part of speech that should fit in the gap. Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb? And having some knowledge of parts of speech will really help you here. So knowing what parts of speech follow which particular words, for example, make sure you know, because that will help you to eliminate incorrect options. Consider if the missing word is part of a collocation. We're going to look at collocations a little bit later, so don't worry if you're not sure what these are, but sometimes you will be able to know the type of word or the specific word because of the word that comes before it. We'll look at that in more detail a bit later. If a gap is too difficult, don't spend too long on it. Remember, the recommended time for each task is 2 minutes. So complete the easier ones first, the ones that you're sure about, and then that will help to eliminate some of the options and help you to complete the more difficult ones at the end. Okay, so start with the easy ones, go back to the difficult ones afterwards. And then finally, once you've selected all of your answers, read the entire text through one more time with your chosen words to check that it makes sense. So this is the strategy that you should be using for the fill in the blanks task. And we're going to use this strategy in some real practice tasks today. Now, I mentioned parts of speech. This is really important for you to have knowledge of this topic before you approach this task. So you should read the words before and after the gap. This will help you to choose the type of word that is missing. So think about what kind of information is missing. Is it a person, a place, an action, or event maybe? Once you've decided that, think about the part of speech that fits in the gap. So is it a noun, a verb, or an adjective maybe? Because having this idea, having this knowledge will help you to select the correct words. Okay, so it's very important that you understand parts of speech and you think about what part of speech will fit in each gap before you select the words. So let's do some practice with this idea. We've got 5 sentences with some missing words. Read each sentence and decide the part of speech that is missing. For example, noun, verb, adjective. Let's look at number 1 together, and you can write your answer into the comments for me to check. So she is continually something her position by getting other people to do things for her. So we need to look at the words before and after the gap to decide what part of speech it is. If you already know, you can write in the chat. So what type of word is missing? So we've got she is continually something, and then we have a noun. So does anyone know what type of word would go here? Could it be a noun, an adjective, a verb? Put your answer into the comments and then I can check. So she is continually something. Just a little tip here, continually is an adverb, and we use adverbs to describe actions or verbs. So if we've got an adverb, we can be pretty sure that the word that comes next is a... Any ideas? Oh, excellent, Safwa. You've put verb, and you've gone a little step further and put verb plus ing. That's really great, Safwa. Well done. We will check these afterwards. Okay, I can see, Jing, you've put an actual... You've gone in a step even further and put an example word, changing. So that is a verb with ing. Maybe the word is changing. I'll give you some options in a minute to choose from. Okay, going on to number 2. The sewage waste has harmed something local fish populations. Okay, what do we think? What type of word? Noun, verb, adjective, or adverb? We've got has harmed, so we have a verb here. Local fish populations, so we have adjective and noun. So what could go here? This is quite a tricky one. I'll let everyone think about it because I'm not going to tell you the answers just yet. And then we can also go on to number 3. We don't, something employees use the office telephone for personal calls. So we have don't, auxiliary verb don't, and then a noun. So what part of speech has to go here? We could only have one option here. So feel free to write in the comments if you want to take a guess. The next one, number 4. So far, the drug is thought not to have any something effects. Okay, so we've got effects as a noun. What could come before the noun? And finally, number 5, blank, comma, the bomb exploded. Okay, you can also use the punctuation to help you here. So something and then a comma. What do we usually use a comma afterwards? Okay, so if you want to try this task and put your answers into the comments, I can check them for you. So Jing for number 3 has put allow. So Jing, you're saying that number 3 is a verb, and you've taken a guess at what the missing word might be. Dokye, you've put adverse. I think that is for number 4, right? Okay. Yeah, or you could put side effects. Okay, so we've got adjectives, people looking at adjectives for number 4. Good. Number 3, verb in present simple. Very good, Safwa. So you've got good knowledge of parts of speech, I can see. A couple of people saying adverse for number 4. Let's see, we will find out. I'm not giving anything away just yet. I want everyone to have a go first. What about number 5? Has anyone got an idea for number 5? Blank, the bomb exploded. Any ideas? So Jing has said instantly. So what part of speech is that? What part of speech is instantly? Okay, Dokye says however. Depending on the context of the sentence, yep. Oh, that's a good idea for number 4, Cherry. You've put untoward. So far the drug is thought not to have any untoward effects. Could be. Yes, so number 5, we've got an adverb. Okay, so we'll go through them now. So number 1, we've said that we need to have a verb plus ing. Number 2, I don't think anyone put an answer for number 2, so we'll see what options we have for that. Number 3, yes, we do need a verb in the present simple or the base form of the verb. Well done. Number 4, I think everyone said we need an adjective, and number 5, an adverb. So now let's have a look at the actual options. So now you'll see after each sentence we have an option between 2 words. So now let's have a go at this task together. So for number 1, we've got 2 verbs with ing form. So we were correct. We needed a verb and ing. But we have two options, misusing or abusing. Which one? She's constantly misusing her position or abusing her position. What do we think? So let's vote in the comments. Do you think misusing or abusing? Now they both have very similar meanings, those words, but there's only one that we can use in this context. Okay, very good. I can see that Jing and Dokyi and Nina all have the correct answer. It is abusing. Yes, so that is a common collocation as well, to abuse your position. So take advantage of, it would be a synonym for that. Okay, what about number 2? The overflowing sewage waste has harmed something local fish populations. So we've got two options here. So we know that we need to use an adjective. We've already got our verb. We need an adjective here. But do we use the adjective with the ed or the ing? Endangered local fish populations or endangering local fish populations? Very good. Lots of people writing the correct answer in the chat there. Well done, Salinas, Cherry, Jing. Yes, endangered local fish populations. Well done. What about number 3? Oh, Salinas has rushed ahead there and put let. Okay. Now, this is an interesting one because we have allow and let. They would both have the same meaning, but we need to look at the grammar. So we don't something employees use. So the word that we put in the gap needs to go with the verb in the base form, or we could say the infinitive without to. Yeah, so some people saying allow, some people saying let. Okay, good. The answer is let, but why? Why is the answer let? Well, allow, when we use the verb allow, it needs to be followed by the infinitive. So we would say we don't allow employees to use the office telephone. So it's not possible to use allow here because there is no to. But with let, we just use the verb in the base form. So we don't let employees use the office telephone. So that was quite a tricky one there, testing your knowledge of grammar. That's another important thing to be aware of in this task. So far, the drug is thought not to have any something effects. Now, amazing, lots of people already guessed the correct word before even being given the option. So adverse effects is there. Very good. Well done, everybody, writing that in the chat. And then finally, number 5, I think a couple of people already said the correct answer for number 5. Is it suddenly or extremely? They're both adverbs. Good. Well done. Jing, Cherry, Salinas, excellent. Suddenly, the bomb exploded. Now, let me just display those for you for a minute there. So just to go through the answers again. So we had number 1, abusing. Number 2, endangered. Number 3, let. Number 4, adverse. And number 5, suddenly. So we see how having that knowledge of parts of speech and grammar can really help us to start completing the task before we even look at the words, the options. Well done, everybody. You did great. Let's move on. So next, we're going to look at how having knowledge of collocations can help you to complete this task. Before we do some practice and talk about collocations, does anyone know what a collocation is? So write a definition in the comments. What is a collocation? So if you have an idea, please write your idea in the comments. What is a collocation? Anybody got an idea? I'll give you a few moments just to think about it. And then you can tell me what you think. So remember, when we were doing this task before, I said that for the misusing and abusing, for number 1, there was only one word that would collocate or that would go with that context, with those words. So what could a collocation be? Okay, let's have a little look. Oh, very good, Cherry. Habitual words or phrase. So I think you've summed that up quite nicely. Words or phrases that often go together. Let's have a look. A group of 2 or more words that are almost always put together. So that what you said, Cherry, about habitual, you're right, they're almost always put together to create a specific meaning. Using a different combination of words sounds unnatural or awkward. So think about that example. She is constantly misusing her position. That doesn't sound right. It sounds unnatural because it's not a collocation. So some common collocations that we can see down here. To make a mistake. We say to make a mistake, but we don't say to do a mistake. Or another one, we say a big decision, but we wouldn't say a large decision. So here you can see how the correct words that go together, they sound more natural. So if you are familiar with collocations, you may be able to fill a blank based on this knowledge. Now, I saw some examples of people doing that in the previous task. Do you remember we saw adverse effects? Now, that's quite a common collocation, and lots of people were writing adverse before they even saw that answer option. That's because they already had that knowledge of that collocation. So you can see how, you know, the knowledge of these collocations can really help with this task. Good, lots of really good definitions in the chat. So collocations are words or phrases that always go together. Very good, Chinedu. Excellent. Yep, Jing said combination of words, exactly. So let's do some practice with this. In each task, you can see there is a list of words. You need to find the verb which does not collocate with the noun in bold. Let's do number 1 together. We have acknowledge, feel, express, make, hide, overcome, and admit. And our noun is shame. So one of these words does not go with shame. So let's try them. Acknowledge shame. Does that sound like a collocation? Feel shame. Express shame. Make shame. Hide shame. Overcome shame or admit shame. Now, one of those does not sound natural. One of these is not a collocation. Which one is it? Write your answer in the chat. You can only choose one word that does not go with shame. Say them to yourself and think which one sounds unnatural. Sometimes you might not know, but you think, oh, it doesn't sound right. What do we think? Cherry said hide. Thank you, Cherry. What does everyone else think? So, what doesn't go with shame? So hopefully you're saying it all to yourself. Jing's also said hide. Okay. All right, now I'm not going to tell you the answer just yet because I want everyone to have a go at all of these and then I'll reveal the answers at the end of the task. Okay, we've got people saying a few different ideas for number 1. Okay. I would like you now to go through all of them. So we'll go through them together. At the end of the task, I will reveal the answers. So number 2, our word or our noun is job. Which of these does not go with job? We have apply for a job, catch a job, create a job, get a job, hold a job, hunt for a job, lose a job, or take up a job. Which of those sounds unnatural? Okay. Number 2, Jing, you've said hold a job. Okay, what does everyone else think? I can see one person has got the correct answer for number 1. And I can see one person has got the correct answer for number 2. Well done. We'll move on to number 3. So we've got language. Which of these verbs does not collocate with language? Interesting. We've got a few here. Which one doesn't sound right? Okay, some people writing the answers for number 2. What about number 3? If you want to, you can write your answers down on a piece of paper and then check them all after the task. If you want me to check your answers, you can put them in the chat. So once you've done number 3, you can move on to number 4. The noun is damage. And the verbs, assess, cause, mend, repair, suffer, or take for damage. Can I see anyone with the correct answer for number 3? Not yet. Okay. And remember, you can always pause this video and take your time to think about your answers and then continue. Once you've done number 4, you can move on to number 5. We've got prayer, beg, answer, kneel in, offer, say, or utter. Okay, can't see. Oh yeah, we've got lots of answers coming through. I can see that someone has got the correct answer for number 3. Well done. You will find out who you are when I reveal the answers. Oh, and I can see a correct answer for number 5 as well. How about number 6? We have teeth. So collocations that go with teeth. Brush your teeth. Drill teeth. Fill teeth. Gnash teeth. That's a good word. Grit teeth or wash teeth. Oh, a couple of correct answers for number 5. Well done, Jing and Nina. And number 7, we have pleasure. So derive, enhance, find, give, pursue, and reach. Okay. So I'll just give you another moment to work through those and see if you can choose the word or the verb that does not collocate with the noun. Number 5 seems to be a good one. People getting the correct answer for number 5. Good, good, good. And I would encourage everybody, if you learn a collocation today that's new for you, write it down and try to review it regularly. Make sure you look at it every day. Try to use it when you're speaking and writing. Okay. Couple of people on number 6 I can see. Drill teeth. Is that correct? Can you drill teeth? Okay. And once you've done number 6, you can do number 7. Okay, excellent. Okay, it looks like most people have now completed those. Like I said, if not, you are welcome to pause the video. I'm now going to reveal the answers to you and you can check. So here we go. Ready? Okay, the answers are highlighted in red. So number 1, I think some people got that correct. Make shame is incorrect. We do not say make shame. For job, we can do all of these things with a job, but we cannot catch a job. That is not collocation. We would say get a job or maybe take up a job, but we can't catch a job. Tell language. We cannot tell language. That verb does not collocate. Take damage is incorrect. We say suffer damage. So, for example, the car suffered damage in the accident, but we wouldn't say take damage. Lots of people got number 5 correct. Beg prayer. We don't beg a prayer. We can say, offer, utter a prayer. We can't beg a prayer. Teeth, the answer was wash. We brush our teeth. We do not wash our teeth. Drill, imagine if you're at the dentist. A dentist could drill teeth. Gnash and grit is this action where you kind of grind your teeth together. But washing our teeth is incorrect. And finally, reach is incorrect for pleasure. So there we have all of our incorrect collocations. So like I said, if you see a new collocation here that you didn't know before, write it down and try to use it, because you never know, you might need it in a PTE task one day. So we're now going to do a practice task using all of the skills we've done in the class today. So thinking about parts of speech and also collocations. So here is an example task. You can see we've got 4 gaps. If you remember from the strategy that we talked about earlier, the first thing you need to do is skim through the text. So if everyone can do that now, it should take you about 20 seconds to skim through the text to get an idea of the content and the context. Don't worry about completing the gaps just yet. Just skim through it quickly. Okay, so hopefully everybody has done that now, and we can see just by picking out some of the keywords here that the text is about people maintaining their weight. So the next thing in our strategy is to think about what parts of speech go in the gaps. So the first gap, what part of speech would go here? Noun, verb, adjective. Can you think of any collocations? Many people struggle to keep their weight in something. Now I'll give you a clue here. This is a collocation, to keep your weight in something. And if you know it, you will get that answer immediately without even looking at the answer options. So what do we think? Keep their weight in check, in order, in lose. Keep their weight in uncovered. Does that sound right? In gain, in regulated, in regulate. So try them all. Which one sounds right? What do you think? You can write your answer in the comments. So keep their weight in what? What do we think? A common collocation. Well done, Ducky. Excellent. Did you already know that collocation, or was that a lucky guess? Let's go and see the answer and explanation. Oops, forward, here we go. Yes, the answer was check. So to keep something in check, this is a phrase which means to keep someone or something under control. And it is commonly used to describe weight. You can also keep a person in check. So for example, maybe you want to keep a group of children in check, if you're a teacher maybe, so you're keeping them under control. But it is very commonly used when you're talking about your weight. So many people struggle to keep their weight in check. So that's the first gap. What about the second one? Now, new research has something why that is. So we've already used check. Has something. Now let's think about the grammar here. What part of speech is needed? We know that this is using the present perfect, has, so we're looking for the past participle. There's 2 possible words here, uncovered or regulated. So new research has uncovered why that is, or has regulated. Good, yeah, Cherry and Doc, you both saying uncovered. So we knew that it had to be the past participle, and it's the only one that makes sense. So research has uncovered is actually a common collocation to describe the findings of research. It means new research has found. Okay, but that was the only word that could make sense, that could collocate in this situation. Yeah, well done. Lots of people saying uncovered. Excellent. How about the next one? So, lipid turnover in the fat tissue decreases during aging and makes it easier to something wait. So, we know that this is going to be a verb because we've got an infinitive here, easier to something. The only ones that we could use are order, lose, gain, or regulate. Actually, quite a few options here. So, look at the context. So we've got some different answers here, but look at the context here. Makes it easier to something wait, even if we don't eat more or we exercise less than before. Quite a lot of people putting lose, but does that work in this context? Let's have a look. It was actually to gain weight. Now, lose weight is a collocation, but look at the context. You need to check if that makes sense in this context. So people struggle to keep their weight in check as they get older. So we know this text is talking about people having problems with their weight. Research has uncovered why. So the lipid turnover in fat tissue decreases during aging and makes it easier to gain weight, even if we don't eat more or we exercise less than before. So for this answer, it's useful to understand the whole context of the text. So if you put lose weight, that didn't actually make sense in the context because this text is talking about people gaining weight, struggling to keep their weight in check. And like we said, gain is the infinitive form, which makes sense here grammatically. So that was a little tricky. Remember, as well as looking at the grammar, you do have to look at the context. Okay, and the final one. The results indicate for the first time that processes in our fat tissue, something changes in the body, weight, during aging in a way that is independent of other factors. So changes here is the noun, changes in body weight. We know that it needs to be a verb. So for the first time, processes in our fat tissue order changes in body weight, lose changes in body weight, or regulate changes. Here we're looking for a collocation. What collocates with changes? Order, lose, or regulate? I can see a couple of people already putting the correct answer. Well done. Let's just have a little look. Regulate. So regulate changes is a common collocation. Now remember, the last thing we have to do is read the text through to make sure it makes sense. So now you're thinking about the grammar, but also the context. The words that you've selected, do they make sense in the context? So if you want to have a very quick skim through this now with the correct words, does it sound correct? We know it's correct, but does it sound good? Okay. So there we've done a practice task together using the strategies of thinking of parts of speech, considering collocations, considering the overall context. I think we've got time to do one more, but I'm going to give you less support this time. Oh, here. So this time, I'm going to let you try to do this more independently. So remember, first thing you do, skim through the text. So 20 seconds, everybody, to skim the text very quickly. I'm just going to stop talking for a moment now to let everyone do that and skim the text quietly by themselves. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. So now you have an idea of the context. Now the next step, you're going to go through each gap and think about the part of speech that's missing. If you want to start writing your answers into the comments, please do. So first, think about the parts of speech Renewable energy, something the media. Verb, noun, adjective, adverb. And the next one, changing and something their environments as something back. Keep in mind collocations as well. So seeing human something on the environment. So have a go. And don't worry if you make mistakes, that's what we're here for. We're here to practice and to learn. Right, we've got people for number 1 saying dominate. That sounds good to me, but I will confirm with the answers in a moment. Okay, what about the next gap? What do we think? Changing and something their environments. Now there's only one word that can fit in each gap, only one possible answer. Sometimes you will know just because of the grammar. So you might just be able to pick the right word because it's the only part of speech that fits. That's the case for number 2. So what do we think? Sometimes there might be 2 words that could grammatically fit, but only one of them works in the collocation. Okay, so I can see Safwat has put an answer for number 2. Well done, Safwat. You are correct. Once you've done the second gap, move on to the third. As something back as. Now that is a collocation, a group of words that go together. It's a useful one to know. Okay. So let's think. Number 4 now. What do we think? I want to give everyone a chance to do this by themselves before I show them the answers. Okay, yes, Safwat, you have selected the right word for number 3, but then you have a word missing. Okay, well done, Cherry. Number 2 and number 3 are correct. Number 4, you need to check again. Yep, good, Doki. You've got number 3 correct. And Safwat, you have got number 4 correct. Well done. Right, let me show you the answers now. Hopefully everyone's had enough time to do that. Here we go. So number 1 was dominate. So we knew that we needed that to be a verb. Dominate the media is a common collocation. Changing and impacting their environments for number 3. So we can use the grammar here. So were changing. So we've got past continuous here. So we knew that it needed to be another verb with ing. So that was the only one grammatically that would work. As far back as. So there we have a collocation here, or a phrase, as far back as, the only possible answer. Seeing human impact on the environment. Okay, so actually, I'm sorry, Safwat, you put human effects. Human impact on the environment. Why? Well, we talk about our impact on something. So the effect that we've had. So yeah, I'm sorry there. Well done, Salina. So you've got all the correct answers. Excellent. Well done, everybody. So yeah, check your answers. If you got some wrong, don't worry. Hopefully you were still attempting to use the strategies. And as you can see, some of these, you really just need to know the collocation in order to get the correct answer. But I think everyone did a really great job there. We have time for just one more, which I'm going to show you quickly now. So I'm not going to help you this time. Skim the text. You can put your answers into the chat for me to check. Some quite tricky vocabulary in this one. If you would like a little bit more time, please feel free to pause the video now and just to take your time in this. Recommended time to spend on this task is 2 minutes. So 4 gaps, 7 words, only 1 correct answer for each gap. Okay, so I'll give you another minute here. I'm going to do this one a little bit more quickly. You can write your answers in the comments if you would like me to check them. Okay, just another 30 seconds. 2 minutes is actually not a very long time, so it's really good to practice these. And you can do plenty of practice of these types of tasks in your Swoosh review course if you do sign up, and I do recommend that you do. We have plenty of practice tasks just like this in the live classes and also for you to do in your own time on your dashboard. Okay. So we've got 2 words in this list here, reacquainting and reintroducing. Similar words, but only one of them collocates correctly. So let's have a think. Okay, I think that was about 2 minutes that you've had. So I tried to do that under proper exam conditions in terms of the time allowed. So now I'm going to show you the answers. Right, so it was reintroducing wolves. You reintroduce something to a place. You can't reacquaint something to a place. Doesn't work. Proponents, so proponents meaning people who support something. So people who support reintroducing wolves to Scottish Highlands. Number 3, opponent cite. So opponent, the opposite of proponent, people who are against something. And cite, if you cite something, it's like you reference it. The animal's propensity for killing livestock, so their tendency to kill livestock. Some quite tricky vocabulary in that task, and I do recommend if you see any vocabulary or collocations that you're not sure about, to add them to your list so that you can review them later. Don't worry, Cherry, if you only got 1, that's still better than nothing. This was a particularly difficult task because of the vocabulary that was in there. Propensity, proponents, reacquainting. It's quite complex vocabulary, so don't worry. I was challenging everybody with that last one. But 1 out of 4 is still good at this point. Okay, so I hope everybody found that useful. Just some final reminders for this task. So if you have a good awareness of parts of speech, you will find this task much easier. I recommend building a list of common collocations and reviewing it regularly because you never know what collocation will come up in the exam, and it's useful for other parts of the PTE as well. Make sure once you've finished, you read the whole text again to check it makes sense. Consider not just the grammar, but also the context and possible collocations. So let's just have a quick reflection then before we wrap up. I would love to hear from you if you write your answers to these questions in the comments. What did you learn about PTE reading today? What did you enjoy in today's lesson? And what do you still need to improve? So have a reflect and put some comments into the chat for me to see how you are feeling. If you found that task really difficult today, don't worry, it just means that you need more practice. And I'm going to give you some more information in a minute about our PTE review program with Swoosh English and Kinetics. So if this is a task that you struggle with, we've got plenty of support available to you. Okay, so Salinas has a question here. So in fill in the blanks, reading and writing. Okay, so the other fill in the blanks task. After answering, do we still need to read? Oh, okay. Do you still need to read the text through? Yes, absolutely. So there is another PTE reading task called reading, writing, fill in the blanks. It's very similar. The strategy remains the same. Read the text through first to get an idea of the context, complete each gap, and then read the text one final time to check it makes sense. Good question. Okay, good, Doki. I'm glad that you enjoyed learning about collocations. And yes, Safwat, vocabulary is something that we always need to work on. There's always more words and collocations to learn. Okay, Salinas, your question was about read aloud. I think that's in the speaking test where you have to read a text actually out loud. In the reading, I recommend that you try to read in your head, because if you read aloud, apart from distracting other people taking the test, it's not really necessary and it will slow you down. So in the reading test, for the fill in the blanks exercises, read it through in your head after you've completed it to check it makes sense. But yes, in the speaking, read aloud, absolutely you need to speak. But maybe we'll do that in another class sometime. Okay, I'm glad everyone found that useful. Now, before we go, just a quick reminder about our Swoosh English and Kinetics review program. So if you are a nurse, you are here and you're a nurse and you're looking for a dream healthcare job in the USA, type me into the chat box. I've got something that you will be interested to hear about. So if you are a nurse, you're looking to move to the USA, another question for you. Are you struggling with your English exam preparation? If so, type struggle in the chat box. Maybe you found this class especially difficult today, or maybe just your PTE exam preparation in general. Maybe it's a different exam you're preparing for, IELTS or OET. If you're struggling with that, would you like to successfully prepare for and pass your English exam, move to the USA and get your dream job all for free? So I can see, Cherry, you've put struggle into the chat here. So if you want help with your exam preparation and get that job in the USA, type please. And remember, this is free, what we are offering. So here's a reminder of the free Kinetics USA and Swoosh English exam scholarship. This is for PTE, IELTS, or OET, whichever exam you're preparing for. We have a free English exam scholarship available to you. So Nina, yes, if you're struggling for IELTS, we can help you. We have an IELTS review program. Now, in your review program, you will receive a complimentary English exam review course. It comes with access to daily classes, just like the one that you've watched today, but more interactive, study groups, study partners, support from a Telegram group, and support from a kinetics specialist. You will also have video courses and quizzes for all 4 skills, a writing correction service where you can submit your writing to us and get your feedback and comments within 24 hours. All of the classes are recorded and uploaded to the dashboard each week. So if you miss a class, you can watch it in your own time. We give you mock exams. So this doesn't matter if you're preparing for IELTS, OET, or PTE, your course will come with mock exams for that particular test for you to practice under exam conditions. And of course, we give you around-the-clock support coming from the Swoosh and Kinetics team to help answer your questions and support you in your exam preparation. So if this sounds like something you're interested in that's going to help you to achieve your dream of being a nurse in the USA, please click on the link that you can see in the chat right now. So there is a link in the comments. So go to the comments, have a look at the link. It's right there for you to click on and enroll. Oh, I can see, Cherry, that you're already enrolled in IELTS. Excellent. It is important that you try to make time to study. I know that we all have very busy schedules. It can be difficult, but we do support you in that. So if you have a busy schedule, remember that the classes are uploaded to the dashboard every day. So there's always a class for you to watch back in your own time. Okay, well, that's the end of today's class, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something about PTE reading. If you enjoyed this class and you want help with your exam preparation, please do click on the link that you can see in the comments now to sign up for your free Kinetics USA and Swoosh English review. And I'm very excited to see you soon. And thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day and goodbye.